the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Good Friday morning to you, Grant. How you doing? You made it through another week?
Oh, yeah. I'm jazzed right now. I'm
You
kind of
seem
ready
jazzed.
to go.
You're like-
I got my caffeine this morning. I'm kind of rocking back and forth. I'm punchy. I'm just ready to
You're
go.
punchy.
Yeah, punchy.
I don't know if punchy is something I'd like to be sitting next to this morning, but
Punchy's not necessarily violent. Punchy's just like kind of like.
to punch is punching is a verb. You do it to a
But
person.
if you are punchy, it's not necessarily that you want to go ahead and just punch everybody in the world.
I suppose.
Punchy just means you're just kind of angsty, but like not like angsty, but you're not like the bad guy. Like you're eager. That's the word.
Eager.
You're like really eager, energetic. Like, come on, guys, let's go. That's punchy.
Okay, well, I am eager and punchy and energetic to get the show rolling today, as we do every Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central, live right here on Spreaker.com and on Periscope. Somebody asked us on Periscope if we get paid to do this, and yes, believe it or not, somebody gives up their hard-earned money to pay us to do this job. Someone's got to do it.
I was just about to say.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to hear defining punchy at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Things that we get paid for. So, but yes, thank you. We appreciate it. It looks like Big Roy 25. Appreciate the support button on Periscope. Remember, though, you, as well as Spreaker and Periscope, you can also get us. Yes, really, those of you that are questioning. I've lost it. I've completely lost my train of thought now.
You can also, it's less savage than
some of the people that are like,
morning.
hey, go F yourself and do this and do that. I'm like, wow. All right, my morning's off to a great start, so I'm just going to go home now. So thank you. Thank you for being, respectful. Good Lord.
Thank you, Big Roy.
Big Roy,
we appreciate
I'll toast
you
you with my coffee, Big Roy. Thank you. But yes, anyway, aside from Spreaker and Periscope, you can also get us on sportsradioamerica.com, live 365, and tune in from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time. And you can get us on demand on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and on Spreaker.com.
You can also find us on Facebook at the Bax and Grant Sports Show and on Twitter and Instagram at BG Sports Show. You can find Baxter's personal Twitter account at Baxter Colburn, and mine is at GrantsRand BGSS.
Yes, indeed. If you ever want to get a hold of the show, shoot us an email, bgsportshow@gmail.com. For some of you listening to today's broadcast, maybe you're recovering after the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game last night. Maybe you're celebrating the Kansas City FC winning the NWSL championship if you follow women's soccer. Or maybe you're just an NFL fan that's dying for football to happen this weekend. Maybe you're a college football fan. Maybe you're followed your teams played last night. I think Cincinnati and Miami played last night.
A lot of high school games
A lot
probably
of high school
happening
games
today.
tonight.
Homecoming.
It's homecoming for a lot of people this week.
Yeah, it's our school's homecoming on Saturday
Your
this
schools.
week.
I've
Or your
graduated.
school.
I'm an alum now. I'm coming home, Grant.
It's still your school, though.
Technically, yes. It's on my diploma.
Fun story.
Fun story, yes. That's who I paid thousands of dollars for to go to school. Thank you. One thing about college they don't tell you. You pay $100,000 just to get a piece of paper. Just saying.
Yeah,
Right. Literally, it is a piece of paper. Just
and
to
then
say,
it's like some people, it's like you get the piece of paper and now you know everything about everybody. It's literally just
yeah. Hi
crazy.
from Italy. Ciao. Good morning. Good. Or I don't know what it is. It's afternoon from you now. So.
Baxter's Italian.
I am
but
Italian,
not
yes.
from Italy.
Ciao.
But
My
is-
family's from Sicily. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Sicily. Most of my family. Fun fact for you watching from Italy. All right, Grant. Well, something that has been circling around the sports world for quite some time.
the last week or so.
The last week, but in the sports world, that's like a year.
Right, pretty
So
much.
let's be honest about it.
So that's why when we're saying that it seems like Deflategate's been going on forever, we're not kidding.
It really does. Considering
It's-
how much media coverage continues to get poured onto it, it's a little disgusting. We've got someone joining us from Minnesota. Good morning. Nice to see you there. Dave Bell 13. Welcome. Glad to have you a part of the broadcast this morning. Well, if you, Grant, were a starting quarterback in the NFL and your backup quarterback came up and said that he thought you were like Michael Jordan in his prime, the way you're playing currently, how would you feel if someone compared you to the great Michael Jordan?
Well, first I'd be like, oh, cool, thanks. I'd kind of feel good because you've played so well,
Yes.
and now people start comparing you to somebody who is obviously an established legend in
Yes.
the sports world. Everybody knows
Hardcore.
Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. People that don't even follow sports, like my wife, knows who Michael Jordan is. And to be compared to somebody like that, that's a pretty big deal. But then at the same time, I think you'd kind of have to be like separate sports, and you just kind of have to separate yourself from that. It's like he was just his own thing.
He was.
Like, you really can't compare legend to a legend.
And that's the hard part about it. Even like in the actual sport, I feel the biggest one that we always hear is LeBron and Michael James. Or
Right.
Michael James, yes. Michael Jordan, that's
Michael
who
James.
he is.
Yeah. Michael James.
Yes. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, you hear that comparison all the time. Every time LeBron is playing well, it's like, he looks like Jordan's. Just stop. Two different eras, two different players, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But I feel like we haven't had a solid, like, one standalone player in the NFL for quite some time. You could make the argument about Barry Sanders, maybe. You could maybe make the argument about Walter Payton. Some of the other great players that have come throughout history, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Dan Marino. But, on the offensive side of the ball, do you look at Aaron Rodgers as potentially the next Michael Jordan? Somebody on Periscope says maybe J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt. I think the argument that has continued to be used against Aaron Rodgers, though, is that he's only got one Super Bowl to his name. Michael Jordan won 6 titles. On paper, the next person that I've heard that has continued to be compared to Michael Jordan is Tom Brady, because he's got 4 Super Bowl rings.
Right. But at the same time, I don't measure greatness on how many championship rings you have. I know some people do. I just necessarily don't think that. And it's got a solid argument saying that you're playing for that championship ring, and it just shows that you can get there and you can win. But look at LeBron James. If you're going to tell me that LeBron James isn't one of the I'm not. If you're telling me that LeBron James isn't one of the best basketball players, one, you're crazy.
Well, he is.
But if you're saying it's because he hasn't won a lot of championship games, it's more of his team than his play.
LeBron?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
For him not getting as many championship rings.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I heard you wrong. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that it's been more LeBron's fault than. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go.
No, I was like, what? No, it's because a lot of time it's a lot of the time for him, it was just him trying to carry the team.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to say that the Packers haven't had great teams, but if you take away Aaron Rodgers, they're an 8-8, 7-9 team regular season.
Oh, absolutely.
Even
Aaron Rodgers makes the team better than it should be.
Right. Look at the 2013 season when they went. That's when Aaron Rodgers
got hurt.
Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone, was out for 6 games.
Something about that.
5 or 6 games, something around there. And the Packers went 8-8, barely squeaked out.
8-7-1.
Or 8-7-1, excuse me. I forgot that they had that weird tie in there.
Tie.
Yeah, I hate that rule. It's so dumb. Anyway, so they finish 8-7-1, just squeak by the Chicago Bears because the NFC North was terrible that year. So
when is it not?
When the Packers are good.
That's sad to take the Packers
and the Vikings. And the Vikings this year. The Vikings this year aren't bad. But anyway, with finishing 8-7-1, because Matty Flynn was not the answer that year.
Neither was Scott Tolzien, unfortunately, because Scott was still young and didn't know a lot about being an NFL at quarterback.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers makes that team. So look at the 2010 Super Bowl winning year. We were watching some of the replays, and the defense was just horrible. Just how bad some of that defense was, and they say defense wins championships.
Yes.
But Aaron Rodgers was pretty much able to overcome that with just how big he is and his presence. And Scott Tolzien came out and said that it's how he controls the game. It's his game. He doesn't take this for granted. He has to put a lot of hard work into this. And he just Tolzien has come out and said that he takes control and he plays it very well, and that's why he said it's reminiscent of how the way Michael Jordan played.
No, you have to definitely be appreciative of what he's done so far, and you got to look at what Mike and Mike on ESPN said about him yesterday. They said that, a few days ago, they said Aaron Rodgers is trending towards being the greatest quarterback of all time, and rightly so. If he can add another Super Bowl ring to his repertoire, I think what he does during a game compared to what Tom Brady does, take away all the scandals, take away whatever the heck is going on, whether or not he's guilty or not for Tom Brady. Look at what they do on the actual field, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers embarrasses Tom Brady with his amount of production. And I think I also don't know, though, because if you were to go up to a person on the street and say you have to win one game, you get Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, who do you choose? I feel like people might be semi-split on that.
Yeah, because they're two great quarterbacks.
They are, but if you're having to choose just one, that helps add the debate. And we're seeing some people on Periscope saying Tom Brady already. I mean, that's a good question to ask. You have to win one game. Is it Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers that wins you the game?
Well, this is probably biased, but I mean, I personally choose Aaron Rodgers because I've seen him play, watched him play, know what he can do, and my argument would be because Aaron Rodgers really takes care of the ball, doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but then go look over at Tom Brady. How many interceptions does he throw a year? Not that many either. He takes care of the ball as well. So somebody mentioned that Tom Brady is a cheater. Well, yeah, you could bring that up, but I mean...
That's what we're saying. We're taking away all of that aspect of it. If you need to win one game, to hell with their personal lives for a moment. Think about it just from a pure football perspective. You need some guy throwing the ball for 60 minutes.
Well,
it kind
of depends on the team. And another argument for me with Aaron Rodgers is that sometimes he's just not had the best offensive line,
and that's why he's only won one Super Bowl.
And he can extend the play.
Yes,
and to help him with that, he has great receivers that know him so well. But I just think Aaron Rodgers' genius also is another thing because he's just so smart. He knows the game so well. He knows the game. Probably one of the best players in knowing what's going on in the league because just of how he can control it, like Tolzien was saying earlier. And we hear all the calls he gives up at the line. My favorite one is Orange Bozo they had this year. Have you heard him say that?
I thought that was New York Bozo. That must have been last year.
It was
New York. It was New York Bozo last year.
This year, I believe it's Orange Bozo.
Fair
That's
enough.
My favorite. But yeah,
gotta change up the calls a little bit. Don't let the defense know what's going on.
Right. But yeah, he's just such a smart player. That's why I would pick him. But if he was not an option, I'd have no problem choosing Tom Brady.
Fair enough. All right, well, keep us posted. Let us know your thoughts, guys. You can tweet at us at Baxter Colburn, at Grants Rant, BGSS, and on Periscope if you're watching us as well. Let us know. One game, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, who would you want as your starting quarterback? We'll be right back. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as we continue to roll on with the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Grant, before we do this next segment, I need to just do something just real quick. Okay, there we go.
Oh, wait. One more.
Need to take a quick selfie here. Different angle. Okay,
all
beautiful.
Right, perfect.
There we go. Well, you'll understand what the context of that is in just a second. As we have Grant's rant, you're not going to want to miss it. I'm excited for this one because if Grant wasn't going to rant about it, I sure as heck was going to find a way to work it in.
Oh, it's just I saw this.
Gosh.
I randomly never have done this before. I just turned on the TV and TMZ was on,
and
I watched it. I've never watched TMZ before.
It's one of those things where I watch it more for the entertainment value than the actual facts.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. They're like, I want to sit in an office all day talking to my boss, and everybody be like, so what'd you find? Well, this is what I found.
Right. Well, it's like I never watch it because I grew up, my father's a pastor, and my mom works at a school, so it's all like...
It's one of those.
It's kind of like,
oh,
that's bad for your mental health and whatnot, and they just spew trash. And like, I went on there, and it's like, the cameramen are actually nice to these people.
Oh, yeah, they're not badgering anybody.
No, they're not like the normal paparazzi you see. They're like, hey, thanks for your time. And they're like joking around with these celebrities and they're laughing back and people are honestly enjoying it. And the people sitting around the desks or whatever, they are hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I actually kind of want to watch it more now because of what I saw yesterday. But, okay. Anyway.
All right, minute on the clock, Grant. Ready, go.
TMZ just did this article, or they did a segment on where there were the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks game, and the announcers, it was at the bottom of the fourth, and all of a sudden the camera pans, they were talking about like some selfie thing, and these girls are all just sitting there, and there's about like 10, 15 of them, look like college sorority girls, and they're every single one of them is looking at some kind of screen, looking at their phone or taking a picture with their friend, and the announcers just go savage on them, saying, like, this is parenting in 2015, yada, yada. Do you remember some of the other ones?
He was just like, this is parenting, like, look, all these people are here, no one's paying attention to the game, like, there was a good play happening during the game, and they, like, panned back to the girls, and it's like, no
one noticed, or like, hey, let's go to a baseball game where we can sit and have great conversations. And then the announcer's like, or just not pay attention to each other at all.
Time. All right, Grant. I think I may have found the audio of it, so it's only like a minute long, so we're going to play it fast here and let the fans, as long as there's not an ad. I got to see if there's an ad first. All right, here we go.
And while maybe they'll tweet us their fan photo, BB. Now's the time, fans. Get on the Twitter with a hashtag of the whole thing, AZDataStrongFan, and you might see your fan photo at a Diamondback TV broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. I mean, look at the one on the right.
Do you have to make faces when you take selfies?
Wait, one more now.
Oh, there you go.
Better angle. Oh, check it. Did that come out okay?
That's the best one of the 300 pictures I've taken of myself today.
Every girl in the picture is locked into her phone.
Oh, Lord.
Every single one is dialed in. Welcome to parenting in 2015. They're all just completely transfixed by the technology. David Peralta.
I love it. They just go right back into the broadcast, and there's a ball outside.
Hold on. I'd take a selfie with the hot dog, selfie with the churro, selfie just of a selfie.
You gotta
do it.
I can't even get my phone to take pictures.
Well, sounds like a personal problem.
Took a picture of your thumb last week. That was good.
Here's my first bite of the churro. Here's my second bite of the churro.
You know, the beauty of baseball is you can sit next to your neighbor and have a conversation, or you can just completely ignore them. Peralta knocks it into center. David tonight 2 for 2, a leadoff single here in the fourth, and nobody noticed.
They're just all still looking at their phones. They're all...
Help us, please. Somebody help us.
Yeah. We need to... Can we do an intervention? How about if we send Baxter out there and he just collects all the phones?
That's what we should do.
I don't know how I worked
You're
myself into the broadcast.
To the end of the game.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, yes, thank you. for that wonderful piece of audio gold.
It was just, it was so great. When I watched it, I was dying. I'm like, oh.
So good.
I need to, follow TMZ Sports or something.
They're funny. Like, they've got good stuff, and they've got good insight. Usually when you hear about the conversations back and forth between Ronda Rousey and Floyd Mayweather, she'll talk to TMZ.
Oh,
and
right.
Usually the videos that come out is her just chatting with the TMZ
I'd
guy.
love to hear them talk. They probably love Rousey.
Oh, yeah. She probably loves them, too.
Probably. They just seem like people that would get along. But then one little interesting thing is the girls responded back, and it doesn't seem like they care. They weren't upset, and in fact, they bragged about it on it's AXO Twitter.
They're sorority girls. So Alpha, Chi, Omega. Learn your Greek. Continue.
The fact that you took a Greek class.
last year.
Yeah, you took a Greek class.
We had a whole big discussion about this. Yes.
Anyway, so they tweeted about it on their Twitter account and even posted one of the pictures.
You gotta
on their Twitter account. So yeah, they're taking it in step.
I love it.
Taking it in
You
full
gotta
step.
enjoy it. You gotta enjoy a little baseball. They'd be like,
I felt like the announcers were getting kind of a little rude.
If I was announcing that game, I would have probably done similar things.
Yeah, definitely. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'd have been
So
like,
funny.
and nobody cares. All right. Be like, look, there's a streaker on the field. They don't care. They're busy taking a selfie. Whatever.
Somebody on Periscope said going Greek too, so you have Italian and now
I've got
you have
Italian, I've got Greek. Well, it was a semester I needed to fulfill a credit, and I was like, let's take Greek. Yeah, don't.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing?
It was interesting, I'll be honest. It was an interesting kind of thing to do for a semester. Kind of like Sam Wallace, who will be with us next segment.
Woo!
So we'll be right back. Don't miss it, Sam Wallace, the man with the running tips and the fantasy football advice coming up. Welcome back to the Backs and Grand Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm back.
And this is Sam.
Well, good morning, Sam Wallace. How are you, sir?
Morning, wonderful. How are you?
Oh, good, good. It is Friday, Sam, which means we welcome you in for your Running 101 segment as we talk about different running tips and fitness tips that'll keep you in shape as a runner. And you also have a little bit of fantasy football insight for us as well. We'll get to the football in a minute because we got to keep the people wanting it. They know they want it.
Keep the masses happy.
Exactly. We got to talk about some Running 101 tips. So this week, what do you have for us, sir?
Tip I was going to bring to the table this week is something that kind of hit me during one of my workouts this last weekend.
Are you okay? Did you survive?
It was great.
Okay.
It was a good realization.
Oh, okay.
It was
good.
a very
I want to make sure you actually got hit.
No,
Okay.
heavens no. I mean, I've been spiked a few times. Cost me a pair of shoes, but that's a different story for a different time.
Of course.
The importance of either finding a local running club or running group, finding some people to work out with, as I'm sure you can probably relate. If you get people to do it with you, you're way more likely to be held accountable.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. And that can be for new runners, that can be for long-time professional runners and things like that. And thanks, Grant.
Just got a selfie taken in the middle of the show. Good Lord.
Wasn't ready for that. That's right. Next time.
Always got to be ready.
It's true. No, but seriously, I was thinking about that during a workout earlier this week with my team, and I was thinking, would I be doing this if I my coach is like, hey, you know what? Get up, go do this workout on your own in the morning, things like that. And it's hard. It's really hard.
It's very difficult. I've noticed that even with just one person, like my wife and I will work out together a lot because we live together, obviously. So it's like, hey, let's go to the gym. Hey, let's go for a run or whatever.
Yeah.
But even that sometimes, if we don't even just the two of us, sometimes it's like, hey, let's go for a quick run or let's do homework and have dinner and do da-da-da-da. It's like she's a teacher. I'm in the sports broadcasting world. It's like it's so difficult to find time. And we found out that sometimes the best times to work out are at 5 a.m. That's the first thing we do because that's the only time we have for free time in the morning.
The free time you guys both have together. Yeah, that's the thing. So again, back to that, especially for new runners, if you're really looking to get into it and stay consistent and kind of keep the progression going.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to look out a local running shoe, a fitness store.
Yep.
I can guarantee you find anybody that's a coach or works at a shoe store, 9 times out of 10 they'll be like, hey, we got a group that meets Thursday nights at this time. A couple of groups go this far, a couple of groups go a little bit further than that, and then there's always marathon training groups, 10K training groups, things like that. And it's a really cool supportive group, and I'll be the first to attest. Distance runners are sometimes a little quirky. I mean, come on, we like to go out and
you have to be.
We like to go out and just run just
like that's what you do for fun. Like
exactly.
That's
I mean, there are some
weird.
There are some days I'm out there and I'm like, this isn't fun. But I'll admit,
I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I look at my teammates around me who are pushing themselves just as hard as I am, and I think they are a huge reason of why I'm here. So, just finding others to hold you accountable, even if it's somebody that doesn't run with you, but you say, hey, when you get up in the morning, text me. You better make sure that I run. Something like that. So
You have to have accountability is huge. I mean, we've heard Connor Christensen, our fitness expert on the show, talk about that as well. Just accountability, having like you mentioned. But yeah, I found that I'm able to work out so much better when I've got 2 or 3 or 4 people doing it with me.
Exactly.
For me to just get up and say, all right, I'm going to go for a 4-mile run, my brain would be like, or you could do this, or you could do that.
That is one thing I really struggle with a little bit this year is I guess it's kind of a good thing in a way, but I've kind of reached the point of my fitness level where I do morning runs a few days a week just to kind of supplement some extra miles into my weekly base and prep myself for the workouts in the afternoon. So I'm up at 6:30, which I know doesn't seem terribly early, but when I don't have class for a few hours, I'm just like, it's getting cold.
But I could sleep.
It's getting cold now, and I really don't want to drag my body out the door. But again, so I try to keep teammates on me, and I try to keep on them. So it's like you said, it's the whole issue of accountability and just trying to enjoy it, trying to make it seem like it's not work, but you're just doing it to help somebody else out too.
Well, there you go. Well, that's the theme of the week, I guess now. Our theme of this week is accountability. So keep in mind that as you are thinking about running and continuing to become a better person for athletics and just running as a whole. So we are going to flip over to fantasy football as we do with you on the show as well. We hear your running segment, but then we also check in on what's going on in the Baxton Grant Sports Show Legends Fantasy Football League. We've got a 12-team league courtesy of ESPN.com. I'm down 19-0 after Thursday night football. It's a night game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset because the guy I started at tight end, Heath Miller, was targeted 2 times last night. He had 1 catch for 1 yard. Therefore, he got me 0 points. So I'm starting off real hot. I figured that maybe there'd be a good opportunity for.
And the thing is,
to get the ball more.
My initial reaction looking at your game is 19-0. I think you'll be fine.
I'm not too terribly worried because of the 2 guys he already had go.
Because he had a running back go for 15 points, which, you're coming back with Adrian Peterson. He should do as well, if not better, this week. So if you can have, I always try to look at, how does my position player stack up against his position player. And the fact that you only had 4 points out of Antonio Brown is huge.
Yeah, I was thrilled by that.
Huge.
I forgot that he had Antonio Brown, and I'm like, ooh, this might actually work out well for me. And I think fans are forgetting that traditionally Thursday night games, nobody ever really plays good on a Thursday night game.
No,
nobody.
It's tough. It's a night game, and as an athlete, you love playing at night under the lights, but it's like, it's a short week, it's kind of goofy. It's definitely not Monday night or even Sunday night for that matter, but I really think you'll be okay. We'll see how Tyrod Taylor plays this week for you, but otherwise, I think your team is stacking up to play decently well. We'll see how a lot of his guys come through. Yeah,
I'd agree with you on that one. I mean, looking around at 2 other players, or 2 other teams that benefited from great players last night, Joe Wolfrath of the Wolfpack here, Joe Wolfrath, our golf expert on the Baxton Grant Sports Show, he got 15 points last night from his kicker.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone's got to step up for Gostkowski this week. He's on bye. I mean, he's been averaging like 17, 18 points a game over New England, so it's only fitting that Justin Tucker, isn't he the one who had that like 62-yard field goal a couple years back, something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was after that game. Somebody on his team was talking about how he had Justin Tucker on his fantasy football team, and now that won him the game. It was like a 6-point kick or something like that.
That's right. I do remember that, yes.
But hey, if you're only going to play your kicker on Thursday night and
getting 15 points.
Crack out 15 points.
You got all of your other position players going.
That's outstanding. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other big game I wanted to touch on was from our Football Inside expert, David Kenyon. His draft is starting to pay off for him a little bit now.
We knew it would.
As we know, I guess for the listeners that may not know.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, when we held our draft for the Bax and Grant Sports Show Fantasy Football Legends team, at the time, Tom Brady was still under suspension. He drafted Tom Brady. He drafted Arian Foster, who already had the issue with his hamstring, and he drafted Le'Veon Bell, who was still out for his 2-game suspension, and he proceeded to draft Des Bryant, who unfortunately got hurt a few weeks in.
His fault, yeah.
Well, that one wasn't his fault, but yeah, his draft is starting to pay huge dividends for him now, which is cool. Le'Veon Bell had 129 rushing yards and a touchdown last night, so he's really winding into shape. I think my favorite play that I saw to him last night was on a 2nd and long, and he kind of rushed it out to the outside, was going lateral as far as he could, and he should have been stacked up for maybe no gain or small gain, and he was able to whip it right around the corner and pick up like 20 yards. So I think that's just a testament to the Steelers' offense and his just athleticism to be able to crank out yards after the touch.
And I think that was kind of the thought with Le'Veon Bell and Tom Brady both coming back, from suspensions. They're hungry. They're hungry. They're ready to take out people, and they've proved it so far this season. And you yourself, Sam, got a few points last night. You got 8 points from Pittsburgh's defense.
Yeah, the defense that I drafted was the Patriots defense, and like I said previously, they're on bye this week, so didn't really know where to go for defense. I guess I wasn't terribly picky. Probably could have looked elsewhere, but I'm like, Steelers, Thursday night, Baltimore. Why not?
Yeah,
they actually got me 3 points more than they were projected, so I guess I count that as a win.
That's a win.
They didn't lose me points, but
yeah,
we'll see. A little nervous this week going up against the Pallettown Monsters, also 2-1. He put up some monster points last week.
157, I think it was last week.
Yeah, and he left some points on the bench. That's the scary thing too.
Yeah.
So he's got some very, very big play guys in running backs, especially wide receivers with A.J. Green, Keenan Allen, and then Amari Cooper over in Oakland, and then Cardinals defense as well put up like 30 points last week. So
yeah, no, it's definitely that Cardinals defense was just lights out. So quick look at the Week 3 power rankings here for the Bax and Grant Sports Show Legends Fantasy Football League as generated by ESPN. So there's no bias from the commissioner, of course. We would hate to have a scandal or anything.
Heavens no.
Never at all. Not like last year. Anyway, so starting at the bottom, this is purely, I'm sure, based off of record and such, but Fort Wayne Vandals, which is David Kenyon, is in 12th place. Corey Plath, who helps out with a lot of the stuff on the show, is in 11th.
Yep.
Connor Christensen, our health expert, is in 10th. Straight out of ACLs, Matt Evans, one of our soccer guys, he is 9th. Joe Wolfrath, our golf expert, is in 8th. The Hartford Whalers, which is Grant. Cheers, Grant. Tip my hat to Grant across the studio, is in 7th. Sam, you are in 6th place.
Middle of the pack. I'm okay.
Not bad. The Cuban Raft Riders, that is you, sir. The Team Landvatter, Megan Landvatter, one of our Packers and Badgers gals. She is in 5th. Detroit area nerdy guy, Zach Poppenfuss, our random grab bag of sports knowledge, is in 4th. Pallettown Monsters is Danny Hoffenstein, one of our college basketball guys. Run from the One is Chris Blakely, another one of our soccer guys and Seahawks insiders. And I'm in 1st place right now. But this is not. I have nothing.
It's got to be rigged.
I had nothing to do with it.
I
had absolutely nothing to do with it.
He runs the fantasy football league. He's got his own sports show. He's in what? Come on.
I pushed the randomize button, and that's what came up.
We'll see.
I'm just here so I won't get fined, Sam. I don't know what you want from me. Okay?
Been here the whole time.
Well, either way. So, thanks again, Sam. I appreciate you stopping by.
Not
we look forward to you stopping by again next week. Good luck this week in fantasy. Take it to him. Someone's got to upset the Pallettown Monsters. We're tired of his reign of dominance.
I know.
Someone's got to do it. He's got a team named after Pokemon. How good?
The best part is, though, I'm still excited because no matter who wins your game, we're still going to have a 4-0 team, which is exciting.
That's true. There'll still be one undefeated team, unless we tie. But we'll still be undefeated either way.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, either way. All right, Sam, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your week, man.
Thanks, you too.
All right, we'll be right back. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Welcome back to the Baxter Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Remember, you can tweet us at Baxter Colburn and at GrantsRandBGSS and tell us your answer to our poll question for the day. You have one game to win in the NFL. A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers, or Tom Ugg boot wearing Deflategate something model wife Brady. I don't know. I ran out of things after a while.
All right.
I could have been like Rodgers discount double check in David Gruber, one call, that's all. Rodgers. There's a few different things. He's got so many.
What does he have with Gruber?
He does it's Aaron, that like where he like goes with kids. To,
Right, that's Gruber Law.
Yeah, David Gruber helps do that. The more you know, Grant.
Oh, I hate their commercials. So
I do too.
There's at Keela's house. My wife, if for all of you who don't know, when we went and visited her mom, we were watching TV. And it's like local. We were watching like some local news thing. There was 5 commercials. Every single one of them were for Gruber.
Of course,
every single one of them. That's like the only commercial over. It's so bad. They get so annoying.
And I'm assuming they do this on purpose. Like they actually have real victims, like that they've helped, because some of the acting from some of those people, unless they're actual actors, is just plain terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping these are real people that they're like, oh, I'm actually just not very good in front of camera, but I'm very grateful for what they did for me. But just the way that some of the things, I'm just like, really? Like
really?
They're paying you to be on camera. Okay.
All right.
So to each their own, I guess. I mean, that's why people like, Miley Cyrus still has a job. Gosh. Anyway. All right, Grant. Well,
she's relevant. Anyway.
I'm not going to. No. What is relevant, though, Grant, is the MLB playoff race.
Yeah,
it's hot.
We had a little bit of baseball talk, fun baseball talk before, and now we have some real baseball talk.
Yankees are in.
Serious. Yeah. First time since 2012 that they have been in the playoffs.
It's been 3 years. People act like
it's
years.
For the Yankees.
They've been rebuilding. They've been rebuilding.
When the Yankees miss the playoffs, it's a big deal. So for the fact that it's been since 2012, it's a big deal. People are excited. Yes, it's a wild card, but
they're still in.
They're in the playoffs.
Got to start somewhere.
So this is how your playoff picture looks. We'll start with the American League.
Yes.
Because I feel like we always start with the National League.
Got to start with America.
And the National League has been confirmed for a couple of days now.
Yes.
But we'll start in the American League. Starting off in the East, American League East, you have the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, the Toronto Blue Jays. They are not horrible.
Never thought that day would happen.
Hey, they're not too bad. I think David Eckstein still plays for them.
Good Lord. The day that the Blue Jays win the division and the Red Sox finish last.
Right? Well,
it's not
tied for last.
Tied for last. It's not official yet, but still.
Wow, there's a 3-place tie for last. I didn't even notice that.
That's terrible.
We have the Toronto Blue Jays that clinched the division. They will have home field advantage during the divisional playoffs. Then in that same division, you also have the New York Yankees, who have clinched a wild card spot. And Toronto Blue Jays have clinched. So the Blue Jays have clinched the division. No way for the Yankees to move up out of that wild card spot, unfortunately for them. But yeah, so they are fighting for, right now, it seems that they'll have home field advantage for the wild card game.
Okay.
If they win one more game, they will have that game. So, and like we said, Baltimore, Boston, Tampa Bay, 78 and 81, all 3 of those teams, they have been eliminated. Moving over to Kansas City, they have clinched their division with a record of 92 and 67. They are first place in the Central, that is the American League Central. And then look over at the Minnesota Twins. They are a game behind the last wild card spot. Just a game. So they are knocking on the door, but if the season ended today, and there's only 3 games left for most teams, I believe all teams have 3 games left. If the season ended today, they would be out of the playoffs. So they've been 7-3 in their last 10 games, so they have been on fire recently.
Woo!
But it is unfortunate because looking at the other teams, the LA Angels over in the West, they are also a game behind the wild card spot. So this race is really close. There's a lot of teams involved.
It's going to be some exciting drama down the road.
Yeah, it is. There was last night or 2 nights ago, if some certain teams lost and certain teams won, there was a situation, if the rest of the season panned out a certain way, that there was going to be 4 teams tied for the wild card. We would have had a couple playoff games. It had extra games, playoff.
Wow.
Or I think looking at, I'm pretty sure they do playoff games. They don't have a second stat. I'm pretty sure that's
Flip
what
a
they have.
coin. Save everybody
Right.
the travel time. Be
Right.
like, and bling. Heads. Oh, all right.
I
good
feel
job.
like that wouldn't solve a lot of problems. I think you'd get more people mad. But
It's
anyway,
unbiased. It's not. It's.
well, I'm not saying it's biased, but you have to show off their skill. It's all about the
You
skill.
had an entire season to do it.
True. So, like I said, Minnesota Twins, almost said Vikings. Minnesota Twins are a game behind, but so are the LA Angels. They are also a game behind, and they are on a 7-3 in their last 10 games as well. So they are also on fire, but they have lost their last 2. So, if you're the Angels fans, it's a little concerning because you're dropping back a little bit. Then you have the Houston Astros, who have been leading the AL West, but have now dropped to second place, and they have not clinched anything yet. But they hold right now the second wild card spot. But like I said, the Twins and the Angels are only a game behind right now. So
Only
it's
3
really
games
close.
left.
Yeah, with only 3 games left, every single game is crucial. If you lose one, that's a really big deal. And then, right now, the division leader in the West right now is the Texas Rangers. They have clinched a playoff spot, for sure, a wild card, but they have not clinched the division. Houston is 3 games behind them, so if the Rangers win one more game, they have clinched the division. So they are closer, but if they lose all of their games and the Rangers win all their games, they'll be tied.
Oh.
So, Texas
Let's do
still,
it.
yeah, Texas still not for sure. They just need to win one more game, and then they'll be okay. Moving over to the National League, we'll start off in the East. The New York Mets have claimed the division. The big news from that is the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
That was a big team. That was a huge National League favorite going into the season
Yep,
to win.
I remember that.
To go to the World Series. Missed the playoffs with a record of 81-78. They finished over 500 barely, but missed the playoffs.
They got 3
So,
games left, so yeah. It's,
they could still, I guess, finish
Go
at
even.
500,
Yeah.
but most likely going to finish over 500. But still, huge disappointing season. You could see there was actually a fight in the Nationals dugout.
It was so bad.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, come
How
on,
do you
guys.
choke out your own teammate?
Yeah, but that was there was a fight last night, or not last night, 2 nights ago, I believe, 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, just showing the frustrations of that team. It's just been a lot of struggle. So, Washington out of the playoffs, New York Mets in the playoffs, so the Mets and the Yankees both in the playoffs. Mets have the divisional.
Let's get a Mets-Yankees World Series.
Oh, that'd be nuts. But no, the Cardinals are winning it all. Speaking of the Cardinals,
Doubtful.
go over to... Oh, no. Moving over to the Central, St. Louis Cardinals, the best record in baseball, have clinched that title. They have 100 wins, the only team that did so this year. No other. The closest team is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And
The most they can finish with is 99.
Yes, they cannot finish with 100. So, St. Louis Cardinals, best record in baseball, they have clinched home field against first rights over everybody.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Good feeling that you, in any situation, you have first dibs to home field advantage, especially if Game 5 in the divisional series or Game 7 in the conference and World Series is needed. So you have that going for you. Huge win for the Cardinals. And the big thing with the Cardinals is that it's kind of like the 2010 Packers when they won their Super Bowl. The Cardinals are going through a lot of injury. Wainwright at the beginning of the season, Achilles injury. You've had John Jay out for a significant time. Molina just got injured. Might be back for the playoff. Piscotty with a P just got injured, and he was a backup player, and he just got injured. You've had Holiday out for on and off all season. You've had Carpenter out on and off all season. You've had a bunch of guys out, and they have just continued to win. So that is what's big for the Cardinals. They just have so much depth, especially at pitcher. They just lost Martinez, a huge loss for them. Lost him for the rest of the season. They put him on 60-day DL. That was the guy who left with his glove covering his face.
I remember that. Yeah, that was.
They were like, he has
controversy for a
shoulder
while.
stiffness, and like a day after, they're like, it's no concern, he'll be back by playoffs. Comes out, it's not. It was a pretty big deal. I forgot what it was. It wasn't like rotator cuff or anything. It was something that's not as common. So I don't know what that was.
Couldn't tell you.
Anyway, moving on. Like I said, Cardinals clinch a division. Pittsburgh Pirates in second place in the Central, 96 and 63. They have clinched the wild card spot, but they have not clinched home field advantage for the wild card spot because also in the Central you have the Chicago Cubs, 94 and 65. They are 2 games behind the Pirates. So yes, they have some ground to make up, but they still could have home field advantage, and the one big thing that everybody is talking about is that their star-stud pitcher, Arrieta, is the one that will most likely get the nod to pitch for this game.
You got it.
Because he is undeniably the one pitcher, like if you're like, I need one game win. And this is what the wild card is. If you didn't know, it's been changed now in baseball for the last couple of years. They have 2 wild card teams now instead of 1, but the 2 wild card teams have a 1-game playoff. So it's a little different. They don't want the playoffs going on forever.
Please.
So like 1 game. So if you need that 1 game, who do you go to? Everybody's saying Arrieta, and just look, he pitched his last game into the 7th inning with no hits. So the man's an absolute tank.
No
He's
kidding.
had
Holy
his
cow.
20 wins this season. Absolutely nuts. Last division, we're going to go over to the National League West. And big shocker here this year, the San Francisco Giants missing the playoffs.
That's not good for
The
team morale.
defending champions.
How does the defending champions miss?
The defending they just didn't
Where's
have a good
Madison
year.
Baumgartner?
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, man.
I don't know.
He was such an
I
ace
don't
last
know.
year.
Well, yeah, I remember
Where's
that.
Barry Bonds? Put in Barry.
Yeah, bring back Barry Bonds. Don't make me laugh.
Can we start a
Jeez.
hashtag for that? Jeez.
Jeez, it making me laugh, making me cough and stuff. I'm still
Sorry.
not 100% healthy. Come on, Baxter. Anyway, yeah, I forgot that Baumgartner was so good last year. That
Yeah.
was. And then you have Lincecum and I think he got injured though.
I
think
I'm
he got-
assuming with them missing the playoffs, something must have happened injury
I
wise.
think he got something happened to him, but I don't remember, or I could be completely wrong.
That happens.
But it's just not an overall, just generally bad year. Well, not bad. They finished 83 and 76, so not horrible, but
No.
missing the playoffs. I
Yep.
mean, that's the whole point. So disappointing season for the San Francisco Giants. But the division leader, LA Dodgers, remember they were awful a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And just a really nice turnaround.
to see them in the playoff talk now is a refreshing,
Right.
bit of information. I'm sure, especially for Dodger fans, like, yes, we're relevant again.
They were one of the top teams a lot during the year. They never really slowed down from that, but they were really close with the Cardinals for the best record. Cardinals never really let go. They kind of started off a little bit slow this season, and I feel like they do that. They start off a little bit slow, and then they just turn it on.
Yes.
And ever since almost week 3, week 2 of the season, the Cardinals have been in first place and never let go of that. But the Dodgers have been kind of behind pretty much all season. They kind of tailed off at the end because once they clinch, it's kind of like, whatever, and they knew they were going to. So it wasn't too bad for them. So they kind of slowed down at the end of the season, but right now they're 89 and 70, clinched the division, and yeah, it's going to be I believe they play the Mets. Because the wild card team, which is kind of unfortunate because the 2 wild card teams, in my opinion, are better than the other 2 divisional teams. So let's look at right now in the National League. We pretty much have it set.
Yep.
We have the Pittsburgh playing Chicago, so we have the 1-game playoff there. And then divisional, you have the Mets. New York Mets will play the LA Dodgers. And then whoever wins the wild card game will play the Cardinals. And I wish I could give you an American League playoff setup right now.
We don't know yet
but
because it's still all
so
over the
close.
place right now.
You have, for sure, you have the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll do a little recap here. You have the Blue Jays, the Yankees, Kansas City, and Texas Rangers still in it. But you could possibly see for the last spot, you have Houston Astros, LA Angels, and the Minnesota Twins all in the hunt for that last spot.
All right, well, the wild card round will begin on October 6th, the AL wild card game. We don't know who's playing the Yankees yet, like Grant mentioned, but in the NL, we'll have Chicago and Pittsburgh taking on each other on October 7th. That game will be on TBS, and that first game for the Yankees will be on ESPN. We're going to go to one more break. When we come back, we will be offering our predictions for Week 4 of NFL action. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
All right, well, before we take off from another edition of the Bax and Grant Sports Show and enjoy a wonderful, restful weekend. Yes, Grant?
You know what, Baxter?
What's that, Grant?
So we're going to be talking right now about NFL in the upcoming week.
Indeed.
You know, that's all exciting and whatnot.
Yeah, woo!
So if you go on to ESPN.com and you look at all the schedules and whatnot, they also have a little pitch if you want to go to the game.
Sure.
Right next to it, they have StubHub. And I've been wanting to mention this for a while.
Please.
They have StubHub, and they're like, this many tickets still available for so-and-so game.
Yep.
And then the prices vary for each game
Of
because,
course.
you know, like, whatever stadium they're at. So, you know what? There's one really awful thing about being a Packers fan, Baxter.
The
You wanna
games are
know-
always expensive?
Yeah, the tickets are always expensive, no matter where you go. Because, and you hear this a lot of times, and especially talking about when the Packers are going to play in London next, because they're going to play, I think, is it the Jaguars? I think when
so,
the
yeah.
Packers play the Jaguars next is the next time they'll be over in London. And the Jacksonville is like, what? Why? Everybody wants to come and see the Packers. That's the one game we can raise our ticket prices because that's when people want to come. That's the game people want to go and see because they don't want to see our team. No, they want to see the Packers. Like, for example, 49ers, $107 for one ticket to see a Packer game. I've never seen at any stadium in the NFL a Packer game where tickets are going under $100. I've never
It's
once
a bit of
seen it.
It's a bit of a travel commute, though, to get to San Francisco for this game. So I can understand why the Packer fans maybe aren't able to get there in droves. But there's there's almost 3,200 tickets left, and
Right.
for all we know, for StubHub, sometimes StubHub does sell parking passes as well. So that might be a parking pass for the cheapest ticket.
No,
Because
well,
sometimes they integrate parking passes and tickets.
yeah, but still, it's always just expensive.
That's true.
And
Very true.
Look at the Colts and Jaguars game, $25 for a ticket. It's just
Go get a nice meal for that instead of watching an NFL game.
right. Buccaneers Panthers $37, Eagles Redskins $36, Texans Falcons $39, just Browns Chargers $39, Rams Cardinals $42. A Cardinals game? Only $42 to go to an Arizona Cardinals
It's a
game.
divisional game, too. I'm a little
And
surprised by
yeah,
that.
and the Cardinals are tearing it up, so it's just ridiculous.
But
and then go over to Denver and $224 where the Broncos play the Vikings.
That'll
but
be
the
a good
Broncos have a really good fan base
They
too.
do.
So and especially in recent years because everybody's like, "Oh, the Broncos are so good right now," so they're all flocking over there see Peyton for one last time.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson, chance to see greatness.
Right, there you go.
Future Hall of Famer.
And then Seahawks, Lions, that's $164 for a ticket in Seattle.
12th
That
man
also
gets
makes
loud.
sense. Yeah, it does. Those are a hot buy right now. I'm actually a little surprised by the Saints and Cowboys, and because that's $78.
Sunday night game.
Yeah, it's a
Drew Brees
Sunday
isn't the
night.
starting quarterback, though. So
True, that could maybe have a little bit something to do with, but they're playing the Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been to New Orleans, and I've been in the Superdome. It's actually a really cool building to be
gorgeous,
in.
yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I would probably pay $78 to come see this game.
Oh, I would absolutely get a chance to see America's team. Just kidding, not really.
They've been
They've
voted
never been
not
America's
American.
team.
Yeah,
People
I
need
hate
to
that.
just stop.
They're just like the only people that call it America's team are the Cowboys fans, and they just self-dubbed
And
it.
everybody else that doesn't like the Packers, basically.
Yeah,
All right,
pretty
Grant.
much.
Well, it's time for us to offer our predictions on this week's bit of action. I know we didn't really offer predictions for the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game last night.
I would have gone with the Steelers.
You would have? Okay.
Yes.
I had taken the Ravens in my ESPN.com pigskin pick'em, so I got that right, which I was thrilled
Yes,
about.
there is proof he did pick it.
It is.
He did
It's
pick it
a true-
correctly.
it's
He's
very
not
true.
lying.
I'm not. That's very
And
true.
he did it before the game. So.
Exactly. All right, next game, Jets and Dolphins. I have the Jets winning this game. Yes, it's going to be played in London. However, I feel that the Jets will be very capable of taking down a very washed-up, depleted Dolphins team right now.
Right, especially with that Jets defense right now playing pretty decently. They're not like Arizona Cardinals.
They're not
status.
crushing people, but they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they're not doing horrible, but Revis Island, he's doing great right now.
Yep.
And the Dolphins don't have a big Gasham offense, and their defense is not as good as I thought it was going to be, especially added in Ndamukong Suh, and just still from that, one player is not going to change the whole face of the defense. And we thought the defense was going to be pretty decent, actually turning out that they're not doing all that great right now. So I definitely picked the Jets taking the game out of London.
Next game, Houston and Atlanta. This game is in Atlanta. Texans are 1-2. Falcons are 3-0. I have the Atlanta Falcons in this game. I don't feel that J.J. Watt and the defensive line of Houston is going to be able to keep up with what Matt
You mean
Ryan.
J.J. Watt?
There's other people that are on that team as well.
Name one.
Jadavon Clowney would be another one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
See, I know him.
Yeah, well, then don't be jumping on me
Yeah,
like you think I don't know nothing.
I was jumping on you.
I
But I
know.
was trying to make a point that J.J. Watt's the only decent player on that team.
I understand that, but Atlanta's high-powered offense is going to be far too much for the Texans.
And start
I've got
Hoyer.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
still Ryan Mallett's the starter.
I know, but they should start Hoyer. But
Yeah,
I
well.
think they're making mistakes by starting Mallett. But I don't think it's going to matter who they start at quarterback because they're still going to lose this game.
Fair enough.
Just I can see the Falcons. They're just a better team, and we've talked about their schedule. And they're not like the best team, but they're a decent enough team to handle these lesser teams like the Texans. The
I agree
Texans
with you.
the Texans have been able to do absolutely nothing on offense. They're about as bad as the Bears when it comes to offense right now.
I think the Texans would kill to have some of the weapons the Bears have, though, at their disposal.
Right.
Even just having Matt Forte. But hopefully they'll get Arian Foster back soon. Next game, Giants and Bills. Giants are 1-2. Bills are 2-1. Tyrod Taylor and company, Sammy Watkins. Everyone is continuing to play very well, and that Bills defense is playing fantastic. If you're the Giants, sure, you've got a few decent receivers in Eli Manning and such, but Buffalo, this game is at Buffalo. They have been notoriously good this year. Yes, they lost to the Patriots, but it's the Patriots. There's only so much you can judge from that. Buffalo has got my vote to win this game.
Yeah, definitely sticking with the Patriots. The Bills stuck with the Patriots. I have to say the full sentence, for it to make sense.
Yes.
The Bills stuck with the Patriots at the game, even though they lost it. Still, really great game, like you said, Tyrod Taylor. If you have watched or listened to the show in recent weeks, I love Tyrod Taylor. I'm a huge Tyrod Taylor fan. So I think he's just going to go absolutely off. Especially now, Giants' Victor Cruz is going to be out for the Giants game. Yes, he's not their number one receiver, but he's still their number two next to OBJ. So, or is he number one on the depth chart?
Who? OBJ?
No,
Cruz
Cruz.
would be two.
I think he's two on the depth
He
chart.
is, yeah. So
yeah,
they've got
he's
Reuben
out.
Randall now.
He's out for the game, so that's going to affect the offense even more. I'm picking the Bills.
Okay. All right. Raiders and Bears. I've got the Raiders. I'm pretty sure Grant shares the same bit with me on that one. Derek Carr's doing really well. Going to
Bears just don't have an offense to do
they don't.
anything.
Absolutely not. Chiefs, Bengals. I've got the Chiefs actually picked to win this game over the Bengals. Even though the Bengals are 3-0, I feel like the Chiefs are going to come back and do fairly well in this one.
I could see the Chiefs possibly making it interesting, but I don't think the Bengals are slowing down anytime soon. You have Andy Dalton is going absolutely nuts. You have Giovanni Bernard for the Bengals, 41 carries, 235 yards. And then, of course, you have the man, the myth, the legend this year going off. A.J. Green, 18 receptions, 335 yards for 3 touchdowns. The man is absolutely a beast this year. Andy Dalton's a beast. They have a running game. They have a passing game. Can't stop him.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. My only argument against A.J. Green is that he got 250-some yards of that last game and 2 touchdowns. So you have to judge the sample size for 3 games.
But only for 18 receptions, 335 yards.
I don't care. Most of that last game.
Yeah, just because it's last game, but that's still. He did really well that last game. You could argue that the momentum coming up from that game, and especially with the Chiefs secondary as poor as it is. It's not poor, but it's not great.
They have a very good secondary. They
don't have a great secondary.
Oh, they've got one of the better
Their
ones.
front 7 is what makes that defense, not the secondary.
They've got some young talent in that secondary.
Yeah,
as well.
young talent that's not proven yet.
We'll see about that.
I'll fight you.
No.
I will say they do have a great front 7, but they were and Andy Dalton's not as great under pressure as Aaron Rodgers. So if they can get enough pressure to him, if they can maybe use a similar game plan they used against the Packers to use against Andy Dalton, and that might work. Because I don't think Andy Dalton can handle the pressure as well as Aaron Rodgers.
I agree with you on that one. That's why I've got the Chiefs winning this one. Next game, Jaguars and Colts. It's honestly flip a coin because if Andrew Luck doesn't play, it's going to be which team can score 5 points first. I've got the Colts still coming out on a victory with this one, regardless of if it is Andrew Luck starting or not.
Right. You got to go with the team that has been proving to that they actually have some talent. The Colts have some talent. The Jaguars don't have much.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. Next game, Eagles and Redskins. I have the Eagles winning this game. I think Chip Kelly and the offense are starting to figure things out. Washington, just stop playing football, go home.
I agree with you
Eagles
on that.
winning on that one. Carolina and Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston and Cam Newton. I've got Cam and the Panthers taking the victory in this game. Chargers and Browns. Once again, I've got Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen. Hopefully Melvin Gordon figures out how to play football this week. And I've got the Chargers winning this game.
I will actually say the Browns this week. If they start Johnny Manziel, we'll go with that.
They probably won't.
Because I think if they start Manziel, I think he's going to show that he will be a force to be reckoned with, actually, with what he has been progressing throughout this offseason. If they start, now I just said Hoyer, popped in my head. It's not Hoyer, it's McCown.
Yep.
If they start McCown, I don't think it's going to end well for the Browns.
Yep, agreed with you on that one. Vikings and Broncos, as much as we love you Vikings, no.
Sorry.
Broncos got the victory in that one. Packers, 49ers, let's not even joke about it. Packers.
You know who we're going to pick.
Cardinals, Rams, traditionally a very good matchup, but I think Arizona's just too hot to handle right now.
Their defense is just on fire right now.
Arizona's got my vote. Dallas and New Orleans, even still, the fact that Drew Brees is probably not going to play for the Saints, I've got Dallas winning this game.
Either way, yeah. Well, you also have to. Brandon Weeden is not that great. Des Bryant still out, but the Cowboys still have a very decent team. So I'd pick the Cowboys over a Drew Breesless Saints because that's really their only stud player that you can really think of from the Saints right now.
I agree with you on that one. And Lions and Seahawks, I've got Seattle taking that victory.
I also agree with that. Just the Lions. You see flashes of greatness from them, and last year they had a great year, and then this year it hasn't transferred over.
No.
You can definitely feel the where they missed Sue and
Nick Farley.
Nick Farley. I almost said Sweeney. I don't know why. Nick Farley. Thank you. I always forget his name, but every time I have to ask you. But from losing Nick Farley and Ndamukong Suh, their presence has definitely been felt. The lack of it on the defense. The defense is not nearly as good as it's been last year, and Stafford has just been off. He has not.
Yeah, he's not
played great.
Johnson hasn't played well. Golden Tate, Eric Ebron.
Yeah, Golden Tate has not played well. He's not played great this year, and also with Matthew Stafford, he has had a nagging injury. So that
bad right ribs.
That does play into it. Yeah, and that's his throwing arm. But I believe he's right-handed.
He is. Yep,
yeah, so that goes into his throwing motion. So can't blame him 100% for that, but still, he hasn't been 100%.
Yep, absolutely agree with you on that one. All right, well, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Bax and Grand Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Remember, you can catch us Monday through Friday on Spreaker.com and Periscope from 7 to 8 a.m. Central. You can also get us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time on Live 365 and TuneIn. And you can also get us on demand on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, and on iTunes as well.
You can also find us on Facebook at the Bax and Grand Sports Show. We are also on Twitter and Instagram at BG Sports Show. Baxter is on Twitter at Baxter Colburn, and I am at Grant's Rant BGSS.
And if you ever want to get a hold of the show, you can drop us an email at bgsportshow@gmail.com. We're going to be posting our poll question on our social media pages just a little bit later. Let us know your thoughts. If you had one singular game in the NFL, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, let us know your thoughts. Thanks to Sam Wallace for stopping by the show today, offering his Running 101 segment and fantasy football tips. For Grant Coppersmith, I am Baxter Colburn. Enjoy your NFL weekend. We'll see you all again on Monday.
See ya.